Lately, the Indian crossover segment has witnessed a lot of competition. The latest entrant to join this race is the Fiat Avventura. Now, the Italians sure know how to make beautiful machines, and the Fiat Avventura is no exception. Fiat has done a fine job of transforming the lean and athletic looking Punto into a muscularly handsome Avventura. We test drive this latest offering from Fiat to let you know how well it performs. The Avventura looks as stunning as the Punto Evo. The overall black cladding, the pseudo skid plate and the elevated stance give it the SUV-ish feel. Its ground clearance is higher than the Punto Evo thanks to the 16-inch alloy wheels, and the most notable feature of the car is the tailgate mounted spare wheel, which completes the overall SUV packaging of the car. The first thing you notice is the taller stance of the car. While the standard car has a ground clearance of 195 mm, the Avventura gets jacked up to an even higher 205 mm. At the front, the lower end of the bumper gets revised thanks to the car getting a full body cladding. 3 mesh slats along with the Fox skid plate give the Avventura a chin-up brawny look. On the side, the cladding continues along with the addition of a chunky door strip with Avventura engraved on it, which looks quite good. The contemporary urban vehicle also gets sturdy and functional roof rails, which can be used for a variety of purposes. It is only when you get to the back that you spot the biggest change. Just like in Jeeps, the Avventura's spare wheel is mounted on the tailgate, which really gives it that SUV-ish appeal. While tailgate mounted spare wheels have their own set of shortcomings, in the Avventura, the spare wheel is mounted on a separate bracket which springs in and out of the way when the tailgate needs to be opened, which seems to be quite a smartly operating mechanism. How vibration or judder free it really is can only be told after the car puts some serious kilometers on the odo. The spare wheels also get a really smart looking wheel cover which blends brilliantly with the overall design of the car. The taillights get a clear lens effect which looks quite smart, and the Fox skid plate at the rear completes what is clearly a fantastic looking car. The interiors of the Avventura are pretty similar to the Punto Evo. The dual-tone dashboard looks elegant but may seem bland to some. Overall interior space is excellent, but we wish it came with some more headroom. Getting inside, the Avventura reveals a few different bits. For starters, there is the new dual-tone fabrics on the seats which look quite nice. Looking at the dash, you immediately notice the two-tone shades, which is a combination of grey and black. In fact, the grey bit in the center is actually a soft touch material which feels and looks great. The audio unit is the same as the Punto Evo, but just above the air con vents lie some very interesting dials. There is a compass along with pitch and roll dials as well, which basically shows the angle of incline and the approach angles. While this might be more of use in a vehicle like a Jeep Wrangler, it only adds a cool factor in the Avventura, which is never going to see extreme off-roading. The dynamic variant gets manual aircon vents but with rubberized dials, which add to the tough look. The Emotion variant gets climate control and steering mounted controls, which is missing in the lower variants. No changes in space, and the Avventura is just as spacious as its standard sibling. The Emotion variant gets a rear aircon vent, which does obstruct the middle passenger slightly. Space is similar to the regular Punto, and there is no increment or decrements whatsoever. The driving position is retained, and sadly so is the narrow footwell. It's always been a common grouse when it comes to Fiat about the footwell feeling cramped, and it was even more apparent in the Avventura. The clutch pedal and the dead pedal have barely any gap between them, and as a result, your foot keeps hitting the dead pedal during frequent clutch engagement, which gets quite annoying. The Avventura gets the same engines as well. Thankfully, the 1.2-litre fire engine has been omitted from the lineup. Powering the car is the 1.4-litre fire petrol unit and the 1.3-litre 90 PS multi-jet diesel. We got in the petrol first, and immediately you notice that the engine is hauling a heavy car. The 1368 engine pushes out 90 PS at 6000 RPM and a modest 115 Nm of torque at 4500 RPM. All throughout the rev range, the engine felt quite refined and happy to rev when performance was called for. However, it does call for frequent gear shifts. Keep it over 3000 RPM and there is decent torque available to take on those steep climbing and overtaking maneuvers, but a little more agility would definitely have done wonders. The diesel is the same multifarious 1.3-litre multi-jet unit, which powers plenty of non-Fiat cars as well. 90 PS of power and 209 Nm of torque to play with, the diesel is easier to drive thanks to all that torque. But out on the highways, the engine starts feeling strained the moment you start pushing it. These engines have been around for a while now, and it's about time Fiat brings in slightly punchier engines to counter the extra weight that Fiat cars carry. This is one department where Fiat has excelled like none other. With the Avventura, Fiat has made sure that the changes are more than skin deep. Increased ground clearance at 205 mm and those large 16-inch wheels are ready to take on whatever potholes our roads throw at it. Adding to it, the excellent suspension setup means the Avventura simply glides over bad patches. Steering feels slightly heavier in the diesel, but both offer plenty of feel and are quite well weighted. We can safely claim that the Avventura is the benchmark when it comes to the combination of ride and handling. The Fiat Avventura is a very good car to drive. The steering doesn't feel very heavy, nor is it too light. It's just right for a car of this dimensions. The Avventura has a good amount of torque that even when you're crawling at a speed of 30 kmph in third gear, the car doesn't knock down. The steering is precise and the braking is equally sharp as well. There is a very minimal body roll and you can definitely go faster on the corners in the Avventura. In a way, you could say it encourages you to go faster around corners. Straight stability is quite good too, and this Fiat handles the good just as well as it handles the bad. Just another crossover then? Well, the answer is a yes and a no. Let me elaborate on that oxymoronic answer. Fiat has concentrated hard on the details like the fantastic looks, the tailgate mounted spare wheel, the high ground clearance, and then some. As far as looks are concerned, the Avventura looks simply fantastic, and I'm sure a good number will be bought just for the way it looks. The interiors are good too, and those off-road specific dials add a cool touch as well. However, the engine does not do justice to the Avventura's looks or its dynamic capabilities. It's about time that Fiat brings in some interesting engine options, or at least plonk the 1.4-litre T-Jet as an option. The biggest detractor for the Fiat Avventura are the lack of safety options, but with refreshing looks and commendable performance and handling, the Avventura might as well find a sweet spot amongst consumers. There's a high possibility that the car may sell well for Fiat purely based on its looks, which are unarguably the best in class. Are we impressed by the Fiat Avventura? Most certainly, but we do wish that the car came with more engine options as well as safety options, which would help it stand apart from competition, not that it doesn't do that already.